As Reverend Nathan C. Walker at the First Unitarian Church of Philadelphia has put it, some of us spend far too much energy using the public forum as a battlefield. We mistake being feared for being powerful. So what makes us poised to be an effective justice-seeking people? What is the kernel of our work? We've seen firsthand the power of what happens when people who are grounded in reason inspire one another to higher ground. We need not spend all our energy on doing justice, but also spend an equal amount on training ourselves to behave in ways that will transform the conflict at hand, not escalate it. We have seen time and time again evidence of how kindness need not breed weakness. From the stories of hope that you're going to hear today, we'll see that the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee's innovative partners incorporate these principles. It's about doing justice, but it's also about being kind. It's about modeling for others the behavior we want to see. While the individuals highlighted in the stories you are about to hear come from diverse backgrounds around the world, they share a people-centered approach, grounding their unique efforts in collaboration, coalition building, and sustainable community solutions. In fact, as our own Reverend Terry Bailiff puts it, the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee is the Unitarian version of missionary work. The Guest at Your Table program fosters understanding and awareness of the UUFC's human rights works. It's an independent, non-sectarian group not supported by government funds. And our fellowship, by participating in the Guest at Your Table program, being launched today in fellowships around the country, nurtures a spirit of justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. The Guest at Your Table program is an annual tradition, nearly 40 years old, in which congregations learn about people with whom the service committee is working. There are little boxes we ask people to take home. Perhaps you could place the box on your holiday table as a reminder to all of us to share our blessings with those who are working for justice in a world that sometimes comes up way too short with fairness and compassion. These projects and the people you're going to hear about are your guests, and you're asked to share your blessings with them to support our shared mission. The boxes are located in the breezeway right outside the door, and there's some here. We ask that you return them with your monetary gifts in early January, and we've cut back on the amount of paper we're using to get the word out and direct you to the outreach bulletin board to see printed copies of what you're going to hear shortly. There's also a website to learn more, which will also be posted in on the bulletin board. But now, let us tell you about the work that is underway. We're going to hear 3 stories that are particularly innovative partnerships. We're going to hear first about the Trauma Research Institute, presented by Jane Shipley. Then the Restaurant Opportunities Center United, presented by Joan Shire. And then the Papai Peasant Movement, presented by Alan Rocheson. Thank you.
Good morning. When disasters strike a community, disasters such as earthquakes, wars, tsunamis, members of that community or those communities suffer immensely. And healing is an extremely important part of the emotional recovery process. And as we all know, healing can be very difficult. 2 folks named Elaine Miller-Carras and Lori Leitch have developed a program that they call the Trauma Research Institute and have developed an effective way to teach healing. And it's a way that they found that everyone can learn and share. The approach is called the Trauma Resiliency Model, and it involves simple activities to influence the way the body works and is able to help people feel safer, calmer, and more alive. This model starts with tracking, and this process is bringing one's attention to all of the different sensations in your body. That is, warm, cold, tingly, tight, whatever. The next activity is called grounding. And this involves creating a connection with the earth for a sense of safety. The next step is called resourcing and involves thinking about good things that make you feel happy. People that make you feel happy, music, moments of success, a special place, whatever brings this sense of happiness to you. By using these skills, you help your body and your mind feel less stressed and in shock. So they develop this program, and then they're taking it worldwide. They wind up in Thailand in 2004, working with survivors of the tsunami, or a tsunami, and they find that they are overwhelmed with the shortness of their staff, and that the numbers of people who are suffering are overwhelmed. So on the spot, they realize that they can expand this trauma resiliency model into a train-the-trainer approach. And so they begin then working with folks in the community to be able to take these techniques of tracking, grounding, and resourcing into the community and work with others. So they have continued to be inspired with the way that this project has been able to spread. And they observed in Haiti, for example, a young child who was using just in overhearing and observing this technique, this child was using the grounding techniques in helping a classmate to do some pretty serious recovering. And the principal of the school observed this and then immediately decided that they would develop a formal program within their school using these three techniques of tracking, grounding, and resourcing. So they've been using this project with the UUSC for some time. After working together with the Trauma Research Institute in many disaster responses, UUSC is developing plans to incorporate the trauma resiliency model into its work now with torture survivors. By using our strengths and helping others recognize their own strengths, we can all work together to heal ourselves and our communities.
Janie? I didn't come prepared to tell the story. I was just going to read it, so that's what I'm going to do. But I do recommend looking up more about my story because I looked it up on YouTube to see how to say this young man's name. It's Fekik Mandu. And I found out lots more interesting things about this story from looking that up. So I'll tell you that. So when you go out to eat, did you know that the person who serves your food might be getting paid only $2.13 per hour? and the cook that prepared your food might be sick but can't afford to take the day off. Fekik Mamdouh and Saru Yaraman, co-founders of the Restaurant Opportunities Centers United, ROC United, who is a Unitarian Universalist Service Committee partner, know these things and more. They can tell you that many restaurant workers don't earn enough to put food on their own families' tables. But what's exciting is that Mamdouh and Saru are working together with restaurant workers across the country to change that in ways that build community and empower people to take action. Mamdouh used to work at the Windows on the World, the restaurant at the top of the World Trade Center. That was one of the most profitable restaurants in the world. On September 11, 2001, 73 of his co-workers, many of whom were immigrants, lost their lives, and 300 more lost their jobs. When the owner of the restaurant refused to hire them back at a new restaurant, Mamdouh joined with Saru to start the Restaurant Opportunities Center. Mamdouh reflected, it was really important for the Windows survivors to build something powerful and positive out of the September 11th tragedy. Starting ROC to improve conditions for all restaurant workers meant we were honoring our lost co-workers in the best way. The former Windows workers got their jobs back, and restaurant workers from all over the country were calling ROC for help with workplace issues. After 7 years of improving workplace conditions in New York City, Saru and Mamdouh went on to found the national ROC United. Today, ROC United has more than 10,000 worker members in 19 cities nationwide. The organization confronts poor conditions that restaurant workers experience, from racial discrimination and sexual harassment to low wages and lack of basic benefits like paid sick days. Saru, a professor and lawyer, says, this is something that always shocks people, but restaurant workers actually make less than all other occupations in the United States, and that's in one of the largest industries in the country that continues to grow each year. ROC United helps restaurant workers stand up for their rights in many ways. They do research to fully understand what restaurant workers are dealing with and try to get laws passed that will help improve the conditions. They organize actions against big restaurant companies that treat their workers poorly, and they help people convince those restaurants to offer fair wages and benefits. As Saru says, when individuals come together, there is nothing that they can't do. ROC United also brings together restaurant owners who are already treating their employees well so that they can share what they do and become a model for other restaurants. One of the most important parts of ROC United's approach is getting the people who eat at restaurants involved, something that UUFC is excited to work on as part of its Choose Compassionate Consumption initiative. As consumers, you have power. With the information in ROC United's National Diners Guide, you can send a clear message to the restaurants you go to that you care about the workers feeding you. We are deeply interconnected with all the people who prepare and serve our food. And together with Mamdouh, Saru, and ROC United, we can honor that connection by making real change. All workers, including restaurant workers, deserve fair treatment that respects their human rights. As part of ROC United, Mamdouh and Saru are using creative approaches to make that a reality. Make sure the work to empower consumers for economic justice continues by becoming a member of UUFC today. Thank you.
In a town several hours outside of Port-au-Prince, Chauvins John Baptiste has been creating a new vision for life in Haiti. And he would be the first person to say that he is not doing it alone. He's got more than 60,000 people across Haiti joining him as members of the Papay peasant movement, known as MPP, a UUSC partner organization. Chauvins is helping people band together to build strong communities in the countryside and live in ways that are good for themselves and for the planet. Chauvins started MPP in 1973 by using popular education, which MPP still uses today to help people, especially farmers, learn about their rights, grow healthy food, and support each other. It's a way of teaching and learning that Paulo Freire came up with. People come together to talk about certain issues, learn from one another, and come up with ideas for how to take action. Everyone is a teacher and everyone is a learner. As Chavez puts it, when I recognize I can learn from somebody else, that person can also learn from me. Chavez has used popular education to work with members of MPP to create their own opportunities. One of MPP's biggest projects is to develop farming techniques that create more and better quality food that the people have control over. Projects like these are important because people in the Haitian countryside have been discriminated against for so long and don't get much assistance from the government. MPP shares its knowledge and resources generously. After the earthquake devastated Port-au-Prince, many people fled to the countryside. Together with UUFC, MPP built an eco-village as a pilot project to demonstrate a better way of living, to help assist displaced people to get back on their feet. 10 families who survived the earthquake now live in new homes and have land for farming. MPP worked with the families to teach them how to farm successfully. Tire gardens are one of MPP's creative methods. Using old rubber tires, people make garden planters that help warm the soil, retain its moisture, and protect plants from animals. Even in places where soil is wearing away because of environmental degradation, the planters help people grow more food and also provide surplus that they can sell at market. Not only do the gardens recycle old tires, but they help to heal old wounds and are now helping people become more self-sufficient in the country. Chavez is helping bring the Road to Recovery Tire Garden project into urban areas too. And so more people will have ways to grow food for themselves. As the leader of MPP, Chavez has done an amazing job creating positive change in thousands of lives, and he did that by making sure that the people could learn from each other and decide how to make change for themselves. Their work has led to stronger communities, a healthier environment, and more hopeful futures. MPP is making a real difference, one that is not only for Haitians, but also by Haitians. Chavez has an exciting vision that is strengthening Haiti by empowering its people. We hope that you will join UUSC in helping his grassroots efforts to advance human rights and social justice. They're also planning some trips to Haiti next year. So there's about 3 or 4 planned, and this information will be back there on the table. And I believe that students get like a 50% scholarship possibly if they are interested in social justice. And it's a week-long program, I believe, a work program. So it'd be a good way to spend a week and do some good things. Thank you.
We're all aware that the world is not a fair place very often, and it's very heartening to know that this good work is being done by the Service Committee, that there is a difference being made in the world. And I'd like to thank all of you for the presentation. I'd like to thank the musicians for their beautiful music. And I'd like to ask people to rise to sing hymn number 170, We Are a Gentle, Angry People.